everybody. How are we doing? Okay. Yeah. I invite you all to stand with us as we worship the Lord together. Luke 1:37 says that it doesn't say that. For with God, nothing is impossible. And I just want us to remember that as we worship together tonight.
Surrounds me. Just one word, the darkness has to retreat. Just one touch, I feel the presence of heaven. Just one touch, my eyes are open to see. My heart can't help but believe. There's nothing that our God can't do. There's not a mountain that He can't move. Oh, praise the name that makes a way. There's nothing that our God can't do. Just one word, you heal what's broken inside. Just one word, and you revive every dream. Just one touch, I feel the power of heaven. Just one touch, my eyes were open to see. My heart can't help but believe. There's nothing that our God can't do. There's not a mountain wall He can't break through. Oh, praise the name that makes a way. There's nothing that our God can't do. I will believe for greater things. There's no power like the power of Jesus. Let faith arise. Let all agree. There's no power like the power of Jesus. I will believe for greater things. There's no power like the power of Jesus. Let faith arise. Let all agree. There's no power like the power. I will believe for greater things. There's no power like the power of Jesus. Let faith arise. Let all agree. There's no power like His power. There's nothing that our God can't do.
want you to think about keeping our eyes on the Lord and letting Him be the vision for our lives. I've carried a burden for too long on my own. I wasn't created to bear it alone. And I hear your invitation to let it all go. And I see it now, I'm laying it down, and I know that I need you. I run to the Father, fall into grace. I'm done with the hiding, a reason to wait. My heart needs a surgeon, my soul needs a friend, so I'll run to the Father. comprehend. All I know is I need you. I'll run to the Father, fall into grace. Done with the hiding, no reason to wait. My heart needs a surgeon, my soul needs a friend. So I'll run to the Father again and again and again and again. Oh, oh, again and again and again and again. Oh, oh, my heart has been in your sights long before my first breath, running into your arms, running to life and death. Now I feel this rush deep in my chest. Your mercy is calling now, just as I am. You pull me in, and I know I need you now. My heart has been in your sights long before my first breath, running into your arms, running to life from death. Now I feel this rush deep in my chest. Your mercy is calling out, just as I am. You pull me in, and I know I need you now. I'll run to the Father, fall into grace. Done with the hiding, no reason to wait. My heart needs a surgeon, my soul needs a friend. So I'll run to the Father again and again. Run to the Father, fall into grace. Done with the hiding, no reason to wait. My heart found a surgeon, my soul found a friend. So I'll run to the Father again and again and again and again. Oh, oh, again and again and again and again. Oh, oh, again and again and again and again. Lord, I thank you for this time that we're going to have to hear this word from Alex. Lord, I ask that you open up our hearts to receive this wonderful word. And Lord, I ask that as we continue throughout this night, that you'll just continue to remind us to put you first in everything that you do. That you'll be our vision, and that we'll just continue to run to you. Amen.
What's going on, everyone? For those of you who don't know me, my name is Snyder, and I get the honor of introducing our speaker tonight, Alex Jackson. I've gotten to know him over the past 2.5 years now. We play on the baseball team together here, and it's just been really great getting to know him. And I would say go subscribe to his YouTube channel and follow him on TikTok and all this because he's a content creator. But honestly, it'd just be a waste of your time, so don't bother. In all seriousness, though, over the last 2.5 years, I've seen Christ grow him tremendously, just in indescribable ways. And it's been amazing to see. His testimony bears a lot of weight. I've gotten to see him use it for the glory of God time and time again, although it hasn't always been easy for him. Alex is one who genuinely cares for other people, whether you know him or not. He's always willing to have a conversation with you, no matter what's said, no matter what he's got to do, he'll make time. That's one of his best qualities. I see him constantly clothe himself with the love of Jesus throughout his relationships, ones he's made here. I've gotten to see that. It's been pretty amazing. Another thing about him, he's a hard worker. He works his butt off to get better at all he does, and I appreciate that as a teammate because he's trying to constantly find ways to better himself for the betterment of the team, and that just kind of shows his selfless character. I thank the Lord for the friendship I've built with Alex, and I'm excited to see what the Lord speaks through him tonight. So join me in welcoming Alex Jackson.
I should speak more often if people are going to introduce me like that. All right, so if you guys don't know me, I'm actually a millionaire. I drive a Ferrari, and if you do know me, please keep your mouth shut. But in all seriousness, my name is Alex. I'm a junior from Aurora, Illinois, up by Chicago. That's just as many applause as I expected from that. But I'm a double major in business and sports management, the hardest courses on campus. But yeah, and of course I play baseball, and that's about it. So before we get into the stories, here's a little background. So this happened around 2021 in March, and that was the weird COVID season of sports. So everything got pushed back to the spring. So I was playing football and baseball at the same time. So this is around when football was ending and baseball was just to start. I don't know what other sports did, but that's how we did it in Illinois, up by Chicago. So it was a Thursday night. It was just me and my brother in the room, in the house. And he went to the doctor's earlier. He had some blood tests done. His knee wasn't feeling that great, but wasn't much to think about, wasn't much to worry. And I remember that night, he gets a call from the hospital. Says, your blood numbers all over the roof, all over the area, and you got to go to the hospital now. You got to go to the ER. So it was just me of him, of course. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to get in my car and we're going to go over to the hospital. I'm going to take you there. So we're trying to get to the car, and he lost all feeling in his leg. And he's sitting right next to the car in the passenger seat. And I'm like, dude, just get in the car. Like, I want to go. I want to get this over with. And he's like, dude, I can't. I'm like, stop being soft. Just get up and go. Like, please. I want this over with. He couldn't get in the car, so I ended up calling an ambulance. I took him there. I didn't think much of it. I asked Aaron, are you okay with everything? Do you need me to go with him? And he goes, no, I'm okay. I'm like, all right, bro. I love you. I'll see you tomorrow. So I didn't think much of it, of course. And then the next day, I woke up. It was Friday morning. I was the only one in the house, which wasn't unusual, but it was like I had a weird vibe. Both my parents work, so I thought they just had to leave early. And I saw a doctor's note on our table. And I remember seeing it was a doctor's note from his appointment. And I don't know what it was, but it just said 2 to 4 week recovery. So I'm like, all right, sick, let's go to school. It's a football Friday, so I'm playing a game. I'm playing Yorkville, and you ask my roommates, I find it really hard to love Yorkville. So I'm getting fired up. I'm ready to beat them. A lot of talking on social media, a lot of players trash talking back and forth. So I'm ready. And then, so I go to school like any other day. I go to my first period. And then during my second period is my gym class, so I get done working out. I get ready to go. And then I open my phone. I go to Facebook. I see there's a notification from my grandma that I haven't seen. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to see that post. And I read it, and it said, I'm grieving the loss of my oldest grandson, Aaron Robert Jackson. I'm just like, what is going on? So then I didn't think it was real. I was like, somebody's playing a joke on me. This isn't real. My eyes are playing a trick on me. So I refresh it. Post is gone. I'm like, all right, now what's going on? So I'm confused. I'm trying to walk to my third period class, and I can't think of anything but what I read on that screen. I was really confused with what was going on. I remember sitting in my third period. I was like, I can't focus in school. I texted my mom, like, Mom, I wanted to go home. I just need to go home. I need to figure out what's going on. My mom goes, why? Little did she know, she didn't know that I saw the message because she was waiting for me to get home to tell me. So I asked my mom, and she's like, go to your counselor. She got it all figured out. So I remember I went to a big school. I went to a school with 3,700 students, so it's a pretty big school. But that walk to my counselor's office felt like 3-4 miles. It was long. I started to break down in tears. On my walk, I was like, what is going on? I'm confused. So I opened the door to go to my counselor's office, and I see her standing there. And she's like, counselor just says, get in my room. I got you covered. And I just knew then that everything that I saw was real. So that's when I started to break down crying, and I got really, really upset. I was confused. I cried probably for 20 minutes straight. I was just confused what was going on. During all that, it was really hard. The school was really nice, so they let me talk to anybody in the school that I needed to, so I brought in all my friends. I told them that was really hard to break the news because first they thought that something in our group chat got leaked and we got in trouble with the school. But but no, it was really hard because they didn't expect it. It was really unexpected. It was really hard to tell them because I don't like breaking bad news to people, so it was really hard to break the bad news for them. But I remember my head football coach, Nate Eimer, he came in to speak with me. And, of course, we had the game that night. So he tells me, like, Alex, whatever you want to do, if you want to play tonight, I'll let you play. If you don't want to play, go home, do whatever you need. And instantly I said, I'm going to play for him. I need to play for him. I feel like I have to play for him. I have to go out and play for him and his legacy that he's left. So I'm a big sports fan. Some of you may know. I love the stories like Isaiah Thomas scoring 33 points off the day his sister died, and all those like great stories of athletes overcoming adversity, overcoming injuries and all that stuff. So I'm not going to lie. I thought I was going to be the next big thing. I thought there was going to be articles written about me, like this dude's brother's just passed and he went and had 6 interceptions or whatever. He scored the game-winning touchdown. I thought I was going to be that guy. I thought I was going to get all the glory. And I low-key expected. I thought God owed it up to me because of what he allowed to happen. I thought that was going to be the case, that I was going to go out and play the best I've ever played and I really wanted to win this game. If you gave me like a magic 8-ball or whatever and you said you can go back in time and win that game or you can go win 3 NCAA championships the next 3 years, I'd probably go back and play and win that game. So I was having confidence that God was going to he was going to win the game for me and I was going to play well. And so I asked, the whole team went out to go warm up and everything, and I asked to come in late. So I sat in the locker room with the time to myself. I was just sitting there, dedicating the whole game to my brother, trying to think of everything that he's ever done for me, to fuel myself up, and go out to the game and compete. And after that, I went out, went to the warm-ups. Nothing felt real out there. It was really hard. It didn't really set in yet. So nothing really felt real. I know everybody's warming up, and I was kind of just standing there like, it was all a blur. But I do remember I lined up for the national anthem, and nobody told me they were doing this, but they asked for a moment of silence of him. And that's when the first realization hit in, and I just started crying on the sideline. That was really hard. And then the game started, and short story, we lost. And I had a lot of disappointment, a lot of anger. I thought I was going to win this game. I would have bet my house that I was going to win this game. I was going to play really well. And I was upset with God. I didn't understand why he would allow that to happen and then allow this to happen. I thought at that time, that was my life. So I thought my whole life was coming crashing down. I didn't understand any of it. I was really disappointed, and I was really, really angry with him. So that was Friday. Fast forward, we had Tuesday was the wake, and then Wednesday was the funeral. That was really hard days, seeing my dad cry for the first time. And obviously the struggles my mom went through and my grandparents and all my friends and family, all of his friends and family. It's really hard to see the pain that they were going through. So I was, of course, angry with God because why would you allow that to happen? Because obviously I want the best for them. I would do anything for my parents and my friends and family. So I was really upset, really angry with God, and it was really hard to believe what was happening. So Tuesday went on with the wake. That was obviously hard. The funeral went Wednesday. That was obviously hard. And then that Wednesday night, I had a call from the school, and the school said that a player on the other team got tested positive for COVID. We unfortunately have to sit you out for 2 weeks. You cannot come to school next week. So my first thought was, I just saw so many people, so everybody in the school is going to have COVID. My second thought was, why are you doing this for me? Why are you going to take everything away from me? You just took my brother away. Why are you going to take everything away from me? All my distractions. Of course, at that time, I thought sports was my life. So you're taking that away from me after you did that. I was really upset, really, really angry with God. And that's the last thing I needed, was to sit in my room for 2 weeks, not able to talk to my family, not be able to see my friends, not be able to go to school, not be able to go practice sports. I missed like the first 3 baseball games, and I was really upset about that. So I was really angry with God and upset with him. Why am I going through all this? Why me? So with this, I put my trust and I idolized sports, I idolized baseball, football, basketball. I idolized working out, I idolized my friends, and I idolized my girlfriend at the time. I'm still single, guys, don't worry. I believe this was the way out. I believe that putting these things in my happiness was the way out, was the way I was going to get over this. I felt a lot that God owed me to be able to perform well and play well. And the worst thing you can do is put your happiness into sports and to put your whole identity in sports. And it's really worse when your teams aren't playing that well. But I was fighting. I was trying to do everything to fix it. I went to therapy. I believe it's good, but it didn't fix everything. There was still a hole in my heart. I tried journaling. I tried meditation. I tried reading books. I tried literally everything but the Lord. I was fighting and I was fighting. And it was really hard for me to accept that this was in my plan for the Lord, because I was really angry and really, really upset with him. My heart seeked peace, and none of these things, baseball, nothing, workout, none of that brought the peace that I was seeking for. So, obviously, a year goes by, it's getting really hard. I'm entering my senior year, still really hard. I'm still really confused, still really upset, still really angry. I remember during that my senior school year, one of my brother's friends, he was telling me that God has a reason for all this, and just to keep praying and just to trust his plan. And in that moment, I closed my fist, and it took everything in me not just to punch him right then and there. Because I was really angry with God, so why would I go up and pray and trust him if he just took all this from my life, and I'm going through all this trouble and all this sorrow? Why would I trust him? Why would a good God allow all this suffering in my life? Like I was a good kid. I went to class. I got good grades. I followed all the rules. I didn't get into trouble. I didn't sneak out. I was a good kid. So why are you allowing all this to happen to me? I don't deserve any of this. Why? So spring of my senior year, around April to May. So my older brother is an Eagle Scout. If you don't know, for Eagle Scouts, they're like the last thing they have to do, the final big project. You have to go you have to set up like this big community service. So again, I went to a big school district. I had like 12 elementary schools. So he decided he wanted to make buddy benches, build buddy benches for like 8 of the 10 elementary schools in the school district. And if you don't know what those are, basically during recess or whatever, if a little kid feels like they need a friend, need someone to talk to, you go sit down, and then the kids are taught to go sit down and talk with him, or go play with them, whatever, et cetera, et cetera. So I was invited to speak at the buddy bench at the elementary school I went to at Fern Elementary. So I left school early. I went at the end of the school day, so the entire school board went out. A bunch of the teachers at the elementary school went out, and about all the third, the fifth graders went out, because obviously the young kids don't really understand it that much. So that was really hard, because that was the first time I've ever talked about this publicly in that sort of fashion. So it was really hard, obviously. What touched me the most, my little brother was just in tears the entire time. That was really hard for me, because obviously I'd do anything for him. So that was really hard to see all that suffering and pain that he's been going through over the past year of everything happened. I remember I was the last one to speak, so I spoke. And then, of course, I saw my family giving hugs and praying and all that stuff. And then out of the corner of my eye, I see this little girl. She's about probably 4th or 5th grade. I've never seen her before. I don't know her parents. I have no connection to her at all. And she goes, after I'm done speaking, she's sitting in like the grass area of the playground. She goes down. She picks up about 6, 7 dandelions. She takes a rubber band off of her arm, and she goes and ties the dandelions together, walks by me, looks at me, smiles, and then puts them on the bench. And in that moment, out of everything I've been trying, everything I've been fighting to do, everything I've been trying to fill the void that this has left in my heart, that was the first time that I felt peace. And it was just 10 to 15 seconds, but that 10 to 15 seconds lasted a while. And that was the first time that I knew that something bigger than me was here for me. And in that moment, the next couple of weeks, I started to think, I started to ask, all right, Lord, with everything that you've done for me, or everything that has happened, how do I trust you? Which is, I forgot to mention, but it is called The Trust. That is my sermon name. I forgot to mention that, but I started to ask, how do I trust in him? How do I trust you, Lord? Shout out to the girl who gave me a discount on this at Moto today. Praise you. Okay. So we're going to go to the first scripture. I'm going to read Proverbs 3:5-6. Trust in the Lord with all of your heart, and not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your path straight. I broke it down in the 4 different sections. So the first one is trust in your Lord with all of your heart. It says trust in all, not just some, not just the surface. Like, I'm not just going to love you on Sunday mornings or Thursday nights. I'm going to go do my own thing Friday nights, whatever. No, you got to love with all of your heart all the time. In every breathing moment, like Parker said last week, you got to be on fire for God every single moment, all the time. You know, if we only eat once or twice a week, we're going to starve. And trust me, I was starving back then. I was starving. Next part is, and not lean on your own understanding. I was lost. I thought I deserved good things. I thought God owed it to me. My understanding was that something bad happens to me, so something good is going to happen to me. You know, this tragedy happened in my life. So my understanding was that God is going to bring that to me, or God is going to give good to me now. And I thought that's what I deserved. I thought that's how it happens. The next part is, in all your ways, submit to him. Now, what does it mean to submit? It means accept or yield to a superior force or to the authority of a will of another person. I found it really hard to accept that he was in control. I don't like not being in control. I like being in control of things. I like to know things. I like to know the plans. I like to be in control of the plans. I was not humble at all. I thought I was the next best thing. I thought I knew everything. I thought I understood everything. For example, in sports like boxing, one wins, another has to accept defeat. I hate defeat. I hate failure. I couldn't accept it. I was fighting. I kept throwing punches. I was like, Lord, I got to fight. I'm going to win. I'm going to get it my way. I do not care what you want. I'm going to get it my way because this is what I want and I feel I deserve. I feel I deserve my way after everything that's happened. And the last part is he will make your path straight. I was lost, confused, and I didn't have a clear direction. But obviously, if you love with all of your heart, and then you seek to understand him, do not seek your own understandings, seek to understand him, and he will make your path straight. And that's what I needed the most, was a clear path of what is going on, because I was really confused. I didn't understand. So we're going to move on to the next, Luke 18:22. So a rich man goes up to Jesus, how to inherit eternal life. So he tells him to follow the commandments. He replies, I've done that since I was young. So I relate to that. I felt like I've been good my whole life. I thought I've been a good child. I grew up, didn't get in much trouble. I hated getting in trouble. That was my biggest fear, was getting in trouble at school, getting called to the principal's office. So of course I thought, why should bad things happen to me? I'm a really good kid. Why should it happen to me? But Jesus says, he replies to the rich man, and he says, there is one thing left you haven't done. Sell all of your possessions and give the money to the poor, and you will have treasure in heaven. Then come follow me. So I'm not telling you to drop out of college and quit and just leave everything and go on. No, I'm telling you, you have to put your faith over your personal wants. For me, it was really hard to put my faith over sports because I thought that was my life and that was my identity. You can't just do it. You can't just do good. It's about having faith. It's not about your good works. It's about your faith. You have to prioritize. You have to follow the Lord. You have to put his wants over your own wants, which I found really hard to do. You have to let go. I'm going to ask you this one question. If God took everything away, would you be okay with it? Would you still have faith? That leads me into the story of Job. Job had everything in life. He was very wealthy and a loving family. A lot of people looked up to him. He was a really faithful guy. So he was a really good guy in the community. Everybody looked up to him. Obviously back then you wanted to live like him. So the devil was having a conversation with Jesus. He didn't believe that Job would still have faith if God allowed Job, I wrote it down and didn't even say it. Job to lose everything. And God was like, all right, bet I'll throw 100 on it. I bet he doesn't lose faith. So the devil's like, this is a challenge. I'm going to take it. The one rule, Job couldn't die. The devil couldn't kill Job. But, he loses everything. And one day he loses his wealth, he loses his family, he loses all of his children. Now, I can't imagine how he was feeling in that moment. I only lost my brother, but he lost literally everything in his life. And how upset and angry I was. I couldn't manage how upset and angry he was. But Job, in Job 1:21, he says, "The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord." He refused to curse his name. I mean, that speaks loudly because he literally lost everything, but he still has faith. He still has faith in the Lord that it is his will and his plan. So the devil is like, all right, I'm going to take it up a notch. Now, you just lost everything. Now I'm going to make you in lots of physical pain, and I mean lots of it. But he still held his faith. But then 3 friends came to visit, and through conversation, Job was like, back then they believed that sin was punishment for wrongdoings. And Job was like, and all the questions were like, Job, you don't really do anything bad. Like, why is God allowing all this to happen? Because they believed sin was wrong for punishment, so why would this happen? Why punish him? What has he done? So then, obviously, Job starts to question God, like, why me? Why me, Lord? I've already lost everything. Why me? I've been a good man. I've been a good servant. Why me? And then God finally speaks to Job, and he asks questions that highlighted his power. Questions like, where were you when I created the universe? So stuff like that. Which made Job realize that he's unworthy to ask these questions, and he said basically, how can I reply? And he realized God was in control. Now I'm not saying you can't question God. That is, I believe it's normal. I have plenty of times. I still am to this day, and I will my entire life. But he sought his understanding, and he realized, and he humbled himself to realize that God is in control. And he remembered who was in control, and he had faith. And that's the biggest thing from this story that I take, is you have to have faith no matter what. So let me ask you again, will you be okay if God took it all away? And this leads me into my final verses, is Matthew 14:22 through 33. So Jesus wanted his disciples to get back into the boat and cross the lake. The disciples were far away from the lake, and they were in trouble, and they were facing strong winds and heavy waves. At 3 a.m., Jesus comes towards them, walking on the water. So the disciples were really afraid. They thought it was a ghost. I honestly would think it's a ghost too. But then Jesus comes out and says, do not be afraid. Take courage. I am here. Peter called, Lord, if it's really you, tell me to come to you, walking on the water. So Peter went out and walked on the water. And then once the strong wind and waves hit, he got scared and began to sink. He screamed and he yelled out, "Save me, Lord." Now, for me personally, my stories, in my experience, I felt a lot like when things go good, when everything's going good, of course, you're going to go walk out on the water. You're going to trust him. But as soon as the strong waves hit, as soon as everything starts to go bad in your life, as soon as you start losing family members, as soon as, if you get injured or whatever, et cetera, of course, you're going to begin to sink. And the thing is, I called out for God a lot during my time dealing with the grief and loss of my brother. I called out a lot. But then, just like Peter did, Peter wanted the Lord to save him, but Jesus grabbed him by the hand out of the water and said, "You have so little faith. Why did you doubt me?" That's how I was. I called out the Lord to save me a bunch of different times, a lot of times, but I doubted him. I doubted that he was in control. I doubted my own faith. I doubted that he would bring me what I wanted, or what I thought he wanted at the time, which was what I wanted. I had a lot of doubt, and I was calling for him to save me, but I still had a lot of doubt. And so everything was going good. Past that point, I started to grow. I came here freshman year. I started to grow a lot. I started to build a lot more trust. Started to build my relationship a lot closer. So everything was going well. Last year I had a concussion, which put me out for the entire season, which was the first time I've ever had to deal with a long injury like that. But I trusted in him. I flew closer to God. I changed my wallpaper to my favorite verse. Jesus replied, "You do not understand now. What am I doing? But someday you will." John 13:7. I thought I was doing really well. I was praying. I was growing a lot closer. All was going well in the summer. I was enjoying baseball. I was getting ready to come here. And then about late July and early August, So long story short, my parents don't live together anymore. And that, since the death of my brother, that's been the hardest thing for me to deal with. It's been really hard to adjust. Obviously, I'm used to coming home and seeing my dad every day and seeing my mom every day, but now that's not the case. It was really hard to adjust, obviously. I was putting a lot of toll on my little brother because he was getting ready for his senior year. And it's really hard to adjust that late in the summer and then have to go to school in a couple of weeks. And then for me, it was really hard because I was getting ready to come back here. I was still trying to figure out everything financially. I didn't figure out everything financially until like the third week here. You ask my roommates, I was stressing so much about everything. I couldn't sleep well, I couldn't eat well, I lost a lot of weight. And it was just really hard to adjust. So I told myself that I was going to, that night that I got the news, that I was going to pray and I was going to leave it up to God. So I did. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. No, I'm joking. I did the opposite right after I said that. I said that night I was going to leave it up for him, and about probably 5 thoughts later, I went right back to my old habits. I told myself that the only way I was going to get out of this was baseball and working out. That was the only way I was going to get through this. I went back to my old habits. I didn't really trust in God. I thought I did. I thought I was praying them correctly, but the intentions were wrong. They were terrible. I thought after everything, after the death of my brother, after all this, finally I'm going to get what I want. I felt like I deserved it. You owed it up to me. So, yeah, I told myself the only way to perform really well, or the only way out is to perform really well during this fall of baseball. So I put really high expectations on myself, really too high expectations on myself. I wasn't relaxed, and for all your athletes out there, if you're not relaxed when you're playing, it's the worst feeling ever. Because I'm full of anxiety. I'm up. I'm trying to bat. And I'm shaking. My hands are shaking. I can barely see the ball. I can't pick up anything out of the pitcher's hand. And because of that, I performed the worst I've ever in my life, which is not what I wanted because I've been working so hard up to this point. So with that, I lost a lot of love for the game. There were a lot of nights where I considered quitting and just going back home and just figuring it out from there. I was losing my love for the game, which I grew up playing since I was basically born. I started in T-ball and been playing ever since. And I want to make a career out of it. I want to go and coach and all that. And Snyder said I'd make social media content with that. But anyways, everything, I put way too much into baseball and I put nothing in God. So I thought I was doing enough. I prayed to perform well. I didn't pray for peace or whatever. I just prayed that I would go out and perform well because that's what I wanted. I didn't pray for his want. I played for my want. So, but it is getting better. We played a scrimmage game against Frontier Community College, and that was the first game that I had fun this fall. So it has been getting a lot better. I've been slowly realizing how to put my trust back into him and how to trust in him once again as I was doing. So I'm going to start wrapping this up. I'm going to invite Pursuit back up. So what the biggest things I've learned is trust, among other things, may be a constant, ever-going battle. And no matter what we go through, because we're all going to go through something in life. If you haven't, then I feel jealous of you. But no matter what we go through, we must remember that it is normal to doubt. It is normal to question. And you are not alone in these battles. Lots of people are going through something similar in you. And we have to keep seeking him. We must keep seeking understanding from him. Because the only way to understand him is to have a relationship with him. I'm a full believer you do not understand someone fully until you have built a really good relationship with them. If there's no relationship, there is no trust. And you have to accept that it's his will over our own. I know how hard that can be. It is really hard. I still struggle with that to this day. But we have to learn to accept that it is his will, and we have to humble ourselves and give it all to him. And it is his plan and not ours, and it is his understanding and not our own. So that's all I had. So I'm going to ask everybody to stand as I pray us out today. Lord, I pray for everyone here tonight and those on campus who are not here or those watching on the live stream. Lord, I want to remind not only myself, but everyone that you are not alone in whatever they go through. I may not understand, but you understand, and you probably understand better than themselves. I pray that you show the light and that you are in control, and whatever that be or however that be. But I pray that you show the light and to give whatever they're going through, remind them of peace and give them the peace that they seek. I pray that we give our anxiety and doubts to you, Lord, that we open our hearts to love and trust all the time with everything that we got at all times. I pray that we have questions, doubts, or whatever it is, that we seek understanding, not of our own, but from you. I pray that we let go of our own egos. We humble ourselves and we give it all to you, and we trust in you in everything that we may do. Amen. Thank you.
So we just heard a powerful message. I've been here for like 2.5 years, yeah, and I've heard a lot of Vespers messages. The one thing that I realized that's consistent in all of them is that God is for us. He picks up our broken pieces and He makes us whole, and He's the only consistent thing. Yeah, He's the only consistent thing. And so, as we sing, as we worship our God, the one and only King of Kings, let's just remember that He does go before us. He has gone behind us. He knows everything before we know it. He knows us better than we know ourselves. So let's pray together.
As our eyes, strength of God, go before, lift me up. As I wake, eyes of God, look upon, be my side. As I wait, heart of God, satisfied and sustain. As I hear voice of God, lead me on, be my guide. Be my guide, above and below me, before and behind me, in every eye that sees me. Christ be all around me, above and below me, before and behind me, in every eye that sees me. Christ be all around me. As our rest, love of God,
sing one last song. And as we sing this song, remember what Alex said. He asked the question, if you lost everything, would you still have faith? If the candidate you wanted to be president lost, do you still want God? Do you still want what he has in store for you? If you lost somebody in your family, do you still trust him? Do you still want him? If you lose the ability to control your schedule, do you still want him? Do you still want him to be in charge of that? If that's true, I invite you to sing this with us. I'm caught up in your presence. I just want to sit here at your feet. I'm caught up in this holy moment. I never want to leave. And I'm not here for blessings. Jesus, you don't owe me anything, but more than anything that you can do, I just want you. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry when I've just gone through the motions. I'm sorry when I just sang another song. Take me back to where we started. I open up my heart to you. I'm sorry. And I'm sorry when I've come with my agenda. I'm sorry when I forgot that you're enough. Take me back to where we started. I open up my heart to you. Sing this if you're caught up in his presence. I'm caught up in your presence. I just want to sit here at your feet. I'm caught up in this holy moment. I never want to leave. We're not here for blessings, and I'm not here for blessings. 'Cause Jesus, you don't owe me anything, but more than anything that you can do, I just want you. I just want you. I just want you, and nothing else, and nothing else, nothing else would do. I just want you, and nothing else, and nothing else, nothing else. I just want you, and nothing else, and nothing else, nothing else. Sing that again. I just want you, and nothing else, and nothing else, nothing else will do. Caught up in your presence.
would a good God allow so much suffering? I think it's a question that humankind has been asking themselves for forever, and I don't think that we're ever going to know the answer to that this side of heaven. What I do know is this. I know that it's easy to walk on the water, and it's easy to declare the goodness and the glory of God when everything's going well. You hear athletes say it after they win a game. You hear people say it when they get good news. They say, like, oh, God is so good. But I don't think that means that he's less good, or he's not good, or he doesn't get the glory when things don't go our way. I think that God's outside of our circumstances. I don't think his goodness and his glory is dependent on me or you. And I hope you feel freedom in that. I hope you feel freedom in that, like, you don't have to perform to be able to prove God's goodness. Like, you don't have to perform well to be able to say, like, God gets the glory. Like, God gets the glory either way. We don't perform, we don't do things out of a place of, like, needing the goodness and the glory and the faithfulness of God. We do things because we already have the goodness and the faithfulness of God. Like, we already have the complete love of God. You don't have to, like, prove it in your sports accomplishments, in your academic accomplishments. We do all those things from a place of security. And so I hope you feel freedom tonight. And I also know that Alex talked about in his story of his brother, he talked about this, like, wrestling moment with God where he was like, God, why would you allow such suffering to happen? Like, why? How can I reconcile, like, a good God with such suffering? And maybe some of you are here tonight and maybe you're not wrestling with anything that drastic, but you're wrestling with God too, and you're like, why? How could he allow this to happen? And I just want you to know that, like, he said it's normal to have doubts and it's normal to have questions, and I would agree with that. And I think that the only way to get through that is to take it to God, because if you think about, like, actually wrestling with someone, you're, like, face to face with them, like, you're right up in their business. And I think I think God's deepest desire for us is that we would take our questions and our doubts that we have, and we would wrestle with them, and we would wrestle with him, because in doing that, we see him more clearly. And I think that he's closer than he ever has been in our suffering. It's easy to see his goodness in the easy, but we become convinced of it in the hard. And so as you leave here tonight, I hope you hear the Lord saying, I am right here with you, and I hope that you learn to long for his presence more than any comfort in the world. Because trust is a constant, ever-growing battle. And with that, I'm going to dismiss you guys. Good night, Vespers.